Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk, and welcome to another episode of College Realignment. That's right, we're still talking about college realignment. It's still a huge factor in the landscape of college athletics. And it's also affecting non-football playing schools. We'll kind of go over a little bit of the ACC and the turmoil going on right now with the two of their blue bloods, and they're try to do a messy divorce. Look what's going on with the WAC and Conference USA. So let's just go right back into the ACC. Now the ACC, as we all know, it's just it just recently added Cal, Stanford, SMU. They get to 18 members, 17 football. That's right, Notre Dame is part of the ACC. And Florida State and Clemson have both filed separate lawsuits against the ACC in their respective states. And the ACC has filed a countersuit against Florida State in Charlotte. Both Florida State and Clemson are looking to try to get out of the television contract, which is binding until 27 or later. So a lot of years left because the buyout is $130 million, and they're trying to not pay it to break their contract. Because at the time the ACC signed their deal, the price for college football was reasonable. Now it's gone into the ridiculous range. We have the SEC and the Big Ten going plaid. But with, that being said, they're still trying to get out. I have a feeling they'll find a way to sneak out, not anytime soon, but where would they land? That's been the number one debated question. A lot of people put them in the Big Ten, and no. Let me say it again. I'll say it in Spanish for you. No. It's not like the Big Ten wouldn't want them, but the Big Ten has one standard universities must have before joining the conference. And it's prior to joining, they must be a member of the AAU, which is a prestigious organization of like universities, R1 research institutions that hold themselves to a higher academic standard. You must have that prior to joining. So Florida State and Clemson are not part of the AAU. There's only a handful of teams in the ACC that are. That includes Miami, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Duke, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, Cal, and Stanford. So definitely got to keep an eye on the prize out there and see what happens. But with Florida State and Clemson, I think it's SEC bound. Dull up in Florida and South Carolina, especially since Clemson has a lot of rivalries with a lot of the traditional SEC programs. Time will tell what will happen. I don't think it's going to happen probably within like 5 years. And then probably be able to escape. And we'll see this whole process start all over again. Down leads to the WAC. The WAC is a conference right now that when it, survived the mass exodus of all their football playing programs and kind of survived as a basketball-only conference. Then they went this grandiose idea that we're going to reinstitute football, start bringing the conference schools to resurrect our football with the goal of getting to the FBS. Just a matter of a couple of years, that goal has gone up in smoke. Not to mention, earlier they had Lamar play for a season, went back to the Southland. UIW committed to join and then pulled that back. Texas Rio Grande Valley is heading back to the Southland once their football program's up and running. And just a few hours before making this video, which by the time you guys will see it will be the next day, or when it's actually going to get published, both Seattle and Grand Canyon have accepted invitations to join the West Coast Conference, a conference made up of private religious institutions up and down the West Coast. Seattle, at one point in time, was part of said conference. But when they dropped their athletics to D2, they left. Now they're back. And they're back in there in the same conference with Gonzaga. Gives Gonzaga an in-state rival. Gives Portland someone else up there in the Northwest. Also get them into a top 15 media market. Also going to Grand Canyon. First time going to Arizona. And another top 15 media market. Because they already have LA in the Bay. When I grab, Seattle, Phoenix, Portland, San Diego. So they have some good markets right there to promote their brand. What's that do with the WAC? And they're down to 8. I don't think Cal Baptist is going to stay very much longer with the WAC. The part finding ways to get either into the West Coast or into the Big West, which is pretty much an all California organization, with the exception of Hawaii. Then they'll just leave the 3 Utah programs, Southern Utah and Utah Tech, both football members, could try to go back, or Southern Utah go back to the Big Sky and bring the Trailblazers with them. And then leaves Utah Valley, part of them going to the Summit League, joining up with Denver over there. So, and then the Texas programs all going back to the Southland. The way the WAC is going, I can see this conference could go by the wayside and just disappear. Or they find some way to merge with the Summit League to keep the league alive, or some along those lines, just to be kind of crazy and just try to make things work. Time will tell what happens with the WAC. Conference USA, once again, adding another program for the 2025 season. They're joining along with the Delaware Blue Hens to get Conference USA up to 12 members. A Western team for Conference USA. The Missouri State Bears out of the Missouri Valley. Now, when I was talking about Conference USA adding programs, I threw out Missouri State, but at that time frame, I heard, I was kind of researching and looking up different articles and different other posts, and they're kind of saying Missouri State is actually looking at Sun Belt membership before they would join Conference USA. So maybe Sun Belt is kind of shutting the door on expansion, because I know they've had eye on Chattanooga for quite a while, and give them to Chattanooga, get them back into Tennessee. Maybe they're also eyeing Stephen F. Austin to kind of help out Texas State, possibly. But with aforementioned Stephen F. Austin, I've also thought Central Arkansas and Eastern Kentucky were other possible targets. I think Eastern Kentucky could still be a target for the MAC if they don't add UConn as a football only and bring in like Binghamton as their backup. But Conference USA gets to 12, ensuring the conference stays alive. I thought this conference was dead a couple years ago. I thought the Big 12 was going to die. So these conferences always seem to find ways to resurrect themselves. Maybe the WAC does the exact same thing. Maybe they start invading the Lone Star Conference to the backfill. Only time will tell. We have to, keep our eyes peeled on these movements. There's just little inclinations here and there that, schools are shuffling around, trying to find that better deal, that greener pasture. Sometimes not so much. In case of Seattle, they're going back to the West Coast. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how long the ACC is going to stay intact. I think when that contract expires, I think the ACC is going to just implode. Just be a mad scramble to who gets the pieces. I think the WAC, it might be out the door as well. Well, the Pac right now is still hanging on by a thread, so we'll see what happens with that one. But hey, just let me know what you think about these actual conference realignments with Seattle and Grand Canyon leaving. These are two programs I thought the Mountain West might be going after to kind of even up their basketball. Maybe they go after Utah Valley or Cal Baptist to get them to that even number of basketball schools. Well, about the addition of Missouri State to Conference USA. Do you think that's the right decision by the Bears? Do you think Conference USA should have went after the other Bears of Central Arkansas? Or maybe Stephen F. Austin to team up with Sam Houston? Let me know down in the comments below. Once I know anything about that, I make sure I get this charming face and lovely voice in front of this camera, spew my nonsense to you as you try to listen in through my monotone voice. Let's mix up comments below. It only helps out promote this channel. If you like what I'm doing, especially here towards the end, go hit that thumbs up for me. Helps me out a lot. Nothing you can do. Subscribe. Not maybe subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit that subscribe button. Click that bell icon. Turn on notifications. Next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.